So maybe I go with the first question then. Jay, from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, Diablo 2 we had crafting, Diablo 3 you introduced the artisan feature. Why did you feel the need to change that?
Well, the crafting elements that were in Diablo 2 were fairly simple, and there wasn't a lot of, this is a fancy word, but there wasn't a lot of fidelity to it. So we couldn't visualize things very well. We really wanted a system where you could see yourself getting better, and we wanted a system with a lot more diversity. So with this system, we can add all kinds of abilities. Mystic can enchant items and can identify. The jeweler can combine gems together to make them better, and can also de-gem items, so you can pull gems off of without destroying the item or the gem. So you don't have to be afraid to socket your items anymore. And anytime that we basically find a feature that we, it has to do with manipulating items or enhancing or customizing items, it's really easy to just kind of add them on to the artisans. So that was why.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the audience?
Yeah, thank you. Will Diablo 3 be region locked to Europe and North America like StarCraft has?
Will be
region locked?
Region locked. I don't know. We haven't really discussed that yet.
Okay. And can you have multiple artisans at the same time?
Yeah, you can gain all 3 artisans. You can level them all up. You tend to focus the way they're kind of tuned in the game now on the one that is most appealing to you. But if you continue to work on them, you can get them all fully upgraded. One of the goals of the system was we didn't want, Diablo is a cooperative game, but it is not a game where you have a lot of reliance on other people. And so we want to keep the cooperative. We don't want to make you really dependent. So because everyone can have every artisan, you don't have to go to other players specifically to, use their artisans or acquire items from them. There are cases where you might want to do that because they might have really good recipes, but it's not like some MMOs where you're really seeking out a very specific crafter to get something. You can pretty much acquire it yourself if you work on it.
Thank you.
Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. The most important question, I think, is what's the release date? Please?
Would anyone in the audience like to answer that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
When it's done.
Please. We came here only for that.
When it's done. You guys try that every time. Have you ever gotten that out of any of us?
Just say me 2010.
When it's done. Wait, when it's done.
Yeah, thanks. You tell me that after in a small dark room.
Yeah, I'll tell you just after when it's done. Okay.
Hi. Do the artisans give you quests after you gain them?
Currently, no. We could have them do that, but we right now our quest system is fairly story focused. So it focuses on our so pushing them back into the story isn't felt right yet. If there's a place where, as we continue to develop the game, where it feels right to kind of utilize them in the main story, then we will. So we could if we wanted, but we don't currently.
Any questions here in this area? Nobody?
There's some.
I think he likes that side of the room more. What up, Christian?
My question is, will there be any special bonuses if you put gems in some special order? I mean, something like a rune system in Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction?
That is a really cool idea. We don't have anything like that in there right now, but it's pretty cool. I'll write it down. I'll chat it up with designer types.
Thank you.
Thank you. Florian Samuel Berger, Transworld News. I never played an online game, but please correct me as far as I understood. There are some people who give real money for cyber whatsoever, I don't want to call it nonsense, to spend the money. We had a press conference today about the security issue in malware. What have you done to improve the security? And have you done anything to, how can I say that, to train the common sense? Because that was mentioned very often, common sense is the best protection. And seemingly common sense and gamer, after what I heard, it's a conflict.
I don't understand the common sense aspect of the question. I do understand the security question part.
They said the best protection for the, as far as I know, you need an account and log in and so on, is common sense.
The best protection.
So, and we're talking about games competence. Have you done something about that?
Well, security is one of our biggest issues at Blizzard. We spend an enormous amount of resources on it. It's very hard to exactly explain what we've done other than we have a whole division of the company that's dedicated to it. And we probably know more about online security than any game company in the world because we've been doing it since the original Diablo. So several of the programmers on our team came from that division and have worked specifically on our database systems and all of our itemization to make it as secure as possible. So it's a big issue for us, and we put a lot of people on it, and that's what we do to keep it secure. So if I had a programmer here, he could probably tell you a lot of stuff that none of us would understand, and we'd all go to sleep. But we put a lot of energy into security and a lot of people onto it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, probably to train. We're talking about game competence. This is even their own section here at the gamescom. To make the people aware about the security problems, the security issue. Have you done something in the game that the people get informed or get even more aware about that?
In
Thanks.
Diablo 3, not to date, but we are not out yet. So it's something we would do a little bit further down the road. But one of the things we do with some of our other games is mostly authenticators. Like we really push authenticators. We give away authenticators. We encourage everyone to use them. They're a great way to secure your accounts. And we highly encourage them. It's also why we do apps that are authenticators, and they're all free. So it's very easy to get an authenticator if you want one, and if you don't have one on your WoW account or your Battle.net account, I highly encourage it.
So who goes next?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, right. About the other two artisans, can you get a little bit more? Can you give a little bit more details about them?
Yeah. So the other two artisans are the Mystic and the Jeweler. So the Mystic mostly focuses on crafting more magic items, wands, staves, and some pieces of armor that tend to be like bracers and things like that we tend to focus as the lighter elements of armor. The Mystic can also enchant items, which is basically a really great way to customize your item. So you can essentially add one affix to the item that is whatever affix that you specifically want. So if you're really focusing on making a very strong crit build, you can add a plus chance to crit or plus crit damage and there's tons and tons of different enhancements that you can get and enchantments that you can get. And those are found basically in the same way that recipes for items are found. You can find them in the world, and also as your artisan levels up, they acquire new ones along the way. So, but the best recipes are always found out in the world. So the Mystic can also identify items, which is fairly similar to what Kane did for us in Diablo 2. And then the Jeweler is pretty much all about jewelry, amulets and rings and gems. The Jeweler can pull gems out of items that you've already socketed, so you can recover your gems and your items. So one of the things we really wanted to make sure, we really like the gem combining game from Diablo 2, where you'd take 3 gems and combine them into higher quality, and you'd collect them. It feeds into kind of the collecting aspect of the game. But we didn't like that, essentially, it made you not want to use your gems. Like, you didn't want to put a gem in anything because you didn't want to lose it. ever until it was the highest possible quality. So what we did was give the ability to the jeweler to pull gems back out so that, and then the jeweler can also combine gems as the Heraldric Cube used to do. And so one of the cool things about the way gems work as well is, just like Diablo 2, there's 5 levels of gems that drop in the world, but there's actually 14 qualities of gems. So you can get up to level 5 through the world, but to get level 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 14, you have to combine lower gems together. So 3 5s make a 6, 3 6 make a 7, 3 7s make an 8. Probably imagine how many gems you need to get to 14. It's a ridiculous number, but it's pretty cool. Like there's, you know, an Uber level 14 gem somewhere waiting for you down the road.